G'day, mates. It's Sandy Nutfield here, and welcome to the wild, wild south of Georgia Tech. Today we will embark on a bloody good journey into the hottest squirrel territory. Buckle up because it's going to be a wild, wild ride. Over the past couple of months, I've been tracking these cheeky little critters known as eastern gray squirrels. I've been tracking their presence in August in the blazing Atlanta heat, all the way to November when the air is chilly and crisp. This is all to see how they adapt to seasonal variation. My hypothesis was that there would be a higher percentage of squirrels present in August compared to in November because of the warmer weather and abundance of resources. To test this hypothesis, weekly observations in various spots on campus were collected. These observations included how many squirrels were present, their behavior, and the weather and time of day of the observation was also taken. After a couple of months of gathering observations, I was able to compare the results from my first observations taken way back in August with me last ones in November. And let me just tell you, mates, them results were shocking. There was a noticeable drop in November squirrel presence. This supports my hypothesis. I can conclude from these results that this was likely because of the colder weather, them hoarding their food, and their behaviors changing around as winter draws near. And I mean, heck, if I were them, I would be booking it too. Think about it like this, mate. Remember the first couple of weeks of classes when everyone actually turns up for the first few days? So the campus is packed to the brim with students hustling and bustling to get to their first classes? Now think back to the last couple of weeks and how dead all of your classes have been. Who wants to rock up to their 8 a.m. class in sub 50 degrees? That's not for me, that's for sure. This is like them squirrels, yeah? In August, they're taking up the campus and running around, socializing up a storm because food's here, there, and everywhere. But hold your horses. In November, those little rascals have hightailed it to more sheltered spots and have stashed away all of their food for them colder months. Now, I know you're probably wondering where my evidence is. Well, I haven't stashed it away like them squirrels in their nuts. Let me show you my data. I used all of me measurements collected during the first and last weeks of observations and whipped up a cheeky bit of R code in RStudio. I ran this code and I churned out a nice solid graph using percentages to show the squirrel presence. As you can see here in figure 1, there was a fair bit more squirrel action in August than there was in November. Now, this is a whole lot of chatter about squirrels, but this all has a bigger connection to ecology, mate. The three big ones are climate change, campus sustainability, and urban ecology. When it comes to climate change, squirrels are ripper little indicators of how seasonal patterns and resource availability shift in response to changing climates. Climate change is a massive deal right now, mate, and understanding how little critters like our squirrels here respond to seasonal changes is one piece of the pie. This can contribute to ecological research and resource management as our planet continues to change on our watch. Now, as for our campus sustainability and urban ecology, we as a university need to establish and maintain a positive public reputation for social responsibility. We can do this by protecting our green spaces and educating our students on sustainable matters in a changing world. These green spaces on campus are vital for animals like our little critter squirrels. After observing how squirrels have adapted and integrated themselves into our human-dominated urban campus, it is imperative that we as people protect these spaces. Due to green space fragmentation from urban development, the size of these various habitats and the amount of diversity has been reduced. Posner and Stewart et al. Have done an amazing job of highlighting sustainable landscape management and the impact that we can make as a community. My research can lay the groundwork for future studies on urban environments and species interactions. A potential study that could be proposed could be on squirrel competition and coexistence in urban environments. In addition to all of this, my research project does a great job of connecting and informing you all of the UN sustainability goals. The main three were number 13, number 11, and number 15. Number 13 is climate action. My project talks about climate change and warming weather and how it can negatively impact wildlife presence. Number 11 is sustainable cities and communities. Today we discuss sustainable management of green spaces on our urban campus to facilitate wildlife populations. And lastly, number 15 is life on land. Land use, urbanization, and seasonal changes affect local ecosystems like our little critters on campus. Squirrel this and squirrel that. How does this impact you? My study can help to motivate campus authorities to implement special care during the early months of the school year like August. This could improve our campus's biodiversity and green spaces and to benefit the squirrel population greatly. This means for you as a Georgia Tech student that you can benefit from the safer and ecologically friendly spaces for you to enjoy. Now, who's with me? I know I am.